Hello everyone and welcome to SEO Rank Maker Conversion Tracker Spy. This is going to be a brief overview of the admin area of Conversion Tracker Spy to help you understand what the data means and in general what you can do with it. This is not conversion training. The greatest value in this information that you have is to make changes to your website to improve conversions. I'm not going to talk a lot about conversion training. That'll be in a separate platform. And this also is not going to be any technical training on inserting the code. There's a small bit of code that needs to be inserted on your website in order to track properly. This is not for that. You'll be able to take that code to your web developer and have them insert it as I instruct. But this training will not instruct you how to do that. So first thing you're going to do once you've created your account is you're going to log in here. I'm just going to pause a second and log in under one of my clients. Okay, now once you're logged in, you won't see exactly the screen because you will have yet to create a project. The first step, the first thing you'll do is you will create a project, and that project name will be whatever name you want. The project description will be whatever you want. It's just for your own reference. It can be, but you have to have both those fields filled out. Once you've done that, you'll have this tiny little bit of code here, and this code just needs to be inserted on every page of your website. The easiest way to do that, for most websites, there's a single page called header.php or header.html, and you need to take this script and place it between the header tags at the top of that page. And if you don't know how to do that, just give this piece of script to your developer and tell him you'd like it to appear across all pages, preferably in a header.php or header.html page. Now, once you've done that, you will be able to start tracking information. Now, we just signed this customer up this morning. Not a highly trafficked site, but we're going to give you a couple of examples of what's happening here. Overview is they've had 29 total visitors. Those 29 visitors have visited 10 pages on the website, and there are a total of 35 sessions amongst those 29 users. And the reason there are more sessions than visitors is that if someone has been sitting on a page for more than 100 seconds, it starts a second session. And the reason we do that is because we want to eliminate having someone sitting on a page for 5 minutes and skewing our data. You're going to be able to change that, but I just want to help you understand what that is. As you can see here in the menu area, this is the projects page. Payments just has your payment history if you're a paid client. Help videos is what you're looking at right now. Support is a support ticket. Then you have account settings. I'm not going to get into all the details of that. A lot of it is self-explanatory. First thing you're going to do, though, is once you're starting to get data, actually, once you've created your account, you want to go to the settings page. And I would suggest having your settings just like I have them here. I'm not going to get into the details of what these are. I would just leave them like they are. One thing I would do is I would query on Google, go to Google and query what's my IP, the letter I, the letter P. Once it tells you what your IP address is, I would put it in here. That way, any activity you have on your website from this computer will not be tracked. You don't want to track your own activity on your own website. That's not good data. The only other thing you have to change on this page is your time zone. And this is a central time zone here. Change it to the time zone that you're in so that the data can be tracked accurately. And then leave the settings, as I mentioned, as I have them here. This is the session delay. Again, after 100 seconds, it's going to start a second session. And I'll explain to you in a second why you would want to leave it like that. This is the send interval. In other words, as someone's on a page, every 1 second it will capture what they're doing. You can make that slower if you want, but you can't make it any faster. So that's the settings. Again, I'm going to go back to the dashboard here, and from the dashboard, you'll see that this is going to be tracking over time the number of sessions and the time total for all those sessions. So we've had 32 sessions, and actually this data is just a little bit delayed here. 32 sessions from the 29 visitors, and they spent a total of 39 minutes today on this website. That's interesting data if you think about it. People spent 39 minutes on my website. How many of them called me or purchased from me? That's the beginnings of the questions about conversions here. So let's get into that. If I didn't get any phone calls today, maybe I want to understand why. So I'm going to look at the user sessions real quick here. And user sessions are first in order of session date time. So the last person to visit this website was at 3:58, which is about 20 minutes ago. And they were on a Mac, and they had this version of Safari. They're in the United States from this IP address. They spent 2 minutes and 15 seconds on this for this total session. They only spent it on one page. If they'd spent it on more than one page, I would see a sequence here like this. They spent it on one page, and again, a total of 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And I can take a look here and see exactly what they did by clicking play. And so the page comes up. In the drop down here, I see that in their session, they were only on one page. Here's the speed at which I can see the playback to see exactly what they did. I can see that they were on a screen that was 1,000 pixels wide and 693 tall. And I can see with these vertical white lines when their mouse moved, and with the vertical red lines when they actually clicked. So let's just take a quick look here, and you can see how this person was moving through. I can see obviously they were reading on the page, and often you'll see people move their mouse back, and this is me here. You'll see them move their mouse back and forth as they're reading. This person is obviously just scrolling down the page and reading. Now I'm not going to leave it out. I can jump ahead here and see when they moved. You can see here they're moving up again. They're reading some detail there. It's interesting to see. I can even jump ahead even further here, as you can see with my mouse over here. And I want to see when they clicked and what they did. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Suddenly they click. And I'm not sure what they clicked on there. But their session ended. This session in and of itself is not of great value. When this is of value is when you're on a dedicated landing page. So if I had a dedicated landing page that was about probating Wisconsin, at the very top of that page, above the fold just means before they scroll down the page, I would want to get inside that person's head and help them understand that I get their problem. I understand they're looking for a solution about probating Wisconsin, and I can help them. And I would present them with some evidence. I would present them with some trust building. Maybe it's testimonials, maybe it's a picture of a friendly person, maybe it's my pricing, and then I would have a very specific call to action saying, here's my evidence, you know I can take care of you, there's no reason why you shouldn't click right here and fill out this form or give me a call right now. And all of that you'd want to happen above the fold, and that's what we're working toward here. If we get them to land on our web page, we really want them to take action before they even have to scroll, because in conversion training you learn you have 3 to 5 seconds to make your impression, help them see that you can solve their problem, get them to take the action you want them to take. Again, this isn't conversion training, but I just wanted you to understand what it is we're looking for as we look at these pages. So that's what the person did in terms of actual movement on the page. But we could also look a little bit deeper into his action if that were a landing page, and that was the Probate Wisconsin. These are all the pages that generated heat maps for us. That was the Avoid Probate in Wisconsin page. I can look at their clicks, eye tracking, which is actually just mouse tracking where they moved on the page, and then scrolling. How far down the page did they scroll? Let's take a look and see if he clicked on the page. I think he only had one click on this page, which really won't be of great value because a single user and their activity in clicking isn't very helpful. It's when you see multiple users and their activity in clicking and see that very often people are clicking here or here. And what will happen is that's a single click and that's what it looks like. But if 10 people had clicked here, we'd see a larger, redder, more concentrated heat map, if you will, of that activity. We can understand what they're focusing on. So that's the click map of that page. Why don't we look at the eye tracking view of the probate page and see where that person moved. Now we saw it in real time, that one visitor, but what these maps are is an accumulation of all visitors on the page, and this is exactly what a heat map looks like. So one person here, he scrolled down, then he kind of stopped here a little bit, maybe moved his mouse. He scrolled down here, he might have moved his mouse up and down a little bit, concentrated or hung here for a little while, just hung while he was reading. And if all of my visitors to the page did this, I would see the accumulation of what they've done and have a better understanding of what their activity was on the page. Obviously, this person has scrolled down the page. I can see what they looked at. If this were a landing page, what I'd want to see is I'd want to see them read my call to action, my evidence, my testimonial, my description of what I can do, my pricing, and then I would want them to see them hanging on my call to action, whether it be the phone number or the form. Again, this isn't a great example because this isn't a specific landing page, but I wanted you to get the gist of what that is. Let's go ahead and look at the scroll on this page. Now, we already know that the person scrolled down the page because it's only one person. But again, this will be the data for all of the people who within our time period were on this page. And if I generate the heat map here, what I'm going to see is the scroll activity. And what I can see is that 100% of the people, and obviously from this example, I was wrong about my statement about one person being on this page. Actually, multiple people have, because 100% of the people saw this area and then left. 64% of the people scrolled down this far, and only 25% of the people scrolled down this far, and only 3% of the people scrolled down this far, and so on. And why is that relevant? Because it makes the point that everyone saw this, not everyone saw this. And so if I don't do a good job of getting inside of this visitor's head and saying, I can take care of your problem related to probate in Wisconsin, here's the evidence and proof, and here's the call to action I want you to take in order to buy from me, then I'm not doing my job. If I had my call to action down here, I would know that only 25% of the people saw that call to action. I want to get the job done up here as much as I possibly can. So that's an overview. Obviously, the more data you have, the more valuable it will be over time when you can see the concentration. You can see the concentrations of information from multiple users so that you can make decisions about how you need to change your page in order to get your visitors to take the call to action that you want them to take as quickly as possible. Thanks for taking a look at this training. If you have any questions, please submit a ticket to support. Thank you.